This has been noted many times, and it bears repeating because it's important. The municipality is responsible for collecting 100% of your property tax. And of that 100%, that 100 cents on the dollar, 55 cents goes right to the Board of Education, no questions asked. 20 to 22 cents on the dollar goes right to the county, no questions asked. And we are left with between 23 and 25 cents on the dollar to run your town, to pay the salaries. That's assuming that we've collected all 100% of the tax, when we're only averaging about 98.5% now. We are nearing the end of our three-year contract, and as far as I'm concerned, and I believe I've spoken to my fellow councilmen, we're going to ask Joe Martin to go in and be as fair as possible, but hold the line. I believe that the town employees, the police department, and all of the contracted town employees, they understand the situation. They know what the economy's like. They're human beings, and they live in this town as well. They pay the taxes in this town as well. And I'm confident that they're going to be responsible and share and give back. I certainly would not approve anything more than possibly a 1.5% increase, and I know that they're going to be paying back into their health care and pension. So we can end up with a wash at least, or possibly even better than that. They are human beings and they live here, and I'm confident that they're going to step up and do what's right. Thank you.
I think that we have to be realistic, especially in the terms of benefits. And I realize that the town employees will soon be, when come the end of the year, will be paying into some money towards their health benefits. As mentioned before, health benefits are rising at a rate that we are having a very difficult time controlling. I think as part of negotiations, we have to go in and we have to change the structure of the way things are done. It has to be like a percentage of your salary that you are paying, and that can be negotiated. Unfortunately, I don't know that much about the town's negotiations with its employees, because all of those things are done in private. But I would encourage those who work with the negotiations from the town side to go in and to be very honest and lay it out. This is what we're faced with. If we do this, it's going to cost this much. We're going to have to raise the taxes this much. Or they could take another approach. They could say, we could take where you are right now and we could stand still for 1 year. Ask me. I'm retired, Social Security. For the last 5 years, 2 of those years, you can tell you what the increase was. Close your eyes. What do you see? Nothing. That's what we got. We could ask them to stand still for a year. They would still make it. They still have good jobs. Or the other alternative would be, and I would hate to see this, and that is if you insist on large increases in order to do this, you might have to reduce staff. I don't want to see that.
I am a public employee. This hits home to me a little bit more than maybe anybody else here, except for you, Bob. But I pay into my health benefits, and I went quite a few years without a salary increase, besides my steps. I mean, public employees get salary increases automatically with the civil service step program. I think what we need to direct the town manager to do is go into bargaining sessions with a strong hand and then come to a compromise. I know that the employees of this town are very dedicated. I know that they understand that that their neighbors and the other residents of this town are hurting financially, and I'm quite sure that they'll be reasonable in bargaining for their next contract. As far as percentages, amounts, that I'll leave to the people that are sitting at the bargaining table. What the council should do is get a number which they won't go beyond as the be-all, end-all, and then have Mr. Martin go in and work with the union representatives. Thank you.
I work in the private sector. I pay my own health care, the entire cost. I pay for my own 401k. I don't have a pension. I don't have a retirement fund except for what I put away. And I know it's hard. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of people in Verona under the same situation. One of the biggest challenges that we face as a municipality and going into contract negotiations is the rising cost of health care. Across the board, across the country, the county, the municipality. The escalating costs are huge, and the implications, we haven't yet seen the implications of the Affordable Care Act, commonly also known as Obamacare, which we certainly have a lot of concern about and how that's going to affect municipalities down the road. The one good thing a couple of years ago was when Governor Christie came out with a 2% cap on the to level out the playing fields with contracts. You know, before that, it's easy to be critical, but you know, years ago, if the public employees were asking for 6% and we wanted to give 2%, well, we were forced to go to arbitration. Arbitration, when I first got into council, along with Councilwoman Schwartz, and back in 2001, we were caught up in the middle of one, and the town lost. We had to go back and pay retro 3 years of salaries and benefits. So we need to stay out of that. And under Governor Christie's 2% cap, it has helped tremendously. So it's a new playing field of renegotiations. It's something we didn't have years ago. So I expect that this next contract will be more in line with the present day economics.
Employee benefits and wages is always one of the things that make elections tricky. As a municipality, we want to keep costs as low as we can. We also want to keep a happy workforce. We want to have a qualified workforce. Just by saying no, 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 you're going to lose qualified employees. The employees of this town, I believe, realize where we're all at. Most of the guidelines are set on the state and federal level. We can't, much like the teachers' pensions, you can't touch them. Same way at the state level. The employees, all their pensions are set there. There's a guidelines we work in. Hopefully, the manager will come back with something that everybody can live with, and we can continue to have Verona prosper.
As most people know who've followed my statements, this has been one of my themes over the last 2 years, and that is basically we have to get some of our salary costs and our health benefit costs going forward under control. I think one of the best ways we can do this is start connecting the dots with all the budget issues. I want to be able to tell Mr. Martin that he can go into a negotiation. Then the best way we can do this with a strong is by looking at all the areas of the budget that we can control and showing the unions that we're serious about cutting costs. I almost feel like we're sort of in Wonderland here. We're talking about, we're throwing up our hands and saying, well, we can't control this, we can't control that. Yet we still want to go, for example, and bond $5 million to build a recreation complex, use some of the money that possibly could be used to offset some of these costs, which everybody here has acknowledged are going to be going forward. If I'm sitting, on a negotiating committee, my first question to the manager is, well, if the town is so hard up for money, why is it going out and bonding for $5, $6, $7 million and incurring additional debt costs? I don't want him to go into the negotiations with that kind of an albatross on his back. I want the negotiations to be serious. I want the town employees to realize that we value them, but that the time has come that we need a contract that's going to be fair to all the citizens in the town. The town employees have done very well in this bad recession, and I think the rest of the town needs a break at this point. Thank you.
One of the things I think causes this issue is the massive disconnect between public employee compensation and what the typical trend is in the private sector, because people in the private sector have had a very, very rough time lately. And what's happening is that as the cost of compensating public employees is going up, which is a very, very large driver of our property taxes, people are seeing their incomes at best stay stagnant, if not go down. Or, there's a lot of layoffs in the private sector. And that's what's making this even worse, out of balance every year. So I think we need to look at how we negotiate contracts in the context of the greater economy as a whole. We can't have two completely separate groups of people in the society that one gets one set of things and everybody else, has to find a way to scratch every year to pay an increased cost. I'm very, very concerned about that. The other thing that I would look at is the overall cost of compensating an employee. We talk just about salaries here, but there's also the very, very large benefit and pension costs. We have high overtime costs in this town. We still have longevity pay for a lot of employees. So it's more than just the base rate and the salary that stacks up in there. We need to look at the overall cost of compensating an employee and look at it as one large bucket of money as to what we can afford to pay out. And yes, we do believe that we value the contributions of our employees. They are dedicated. They do work hard, but we need to look at where this is taking our budget. It's what's really driving the increases in our budget, and I feel that disconnect is the biggest concern. in times that are really, really good, I think that the public sector should benefit as well. I have absolutely nothing against that. But I do feel that when we're in times like we've had recently, we need to kind of even it out between the two groups.